Okay, foodies, Pat McMahon inviting you to take 5 once again. We're here every week at KTAR.com, and we try to introduce you not only to different kinds of cuisine, but also just different answers that you might have to questions that you may have come up with, like the one that I pose now to Chef Charles Wiley. Good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you.
After how many years? When did you first get here?
1989. So it's been a while.
And boy, you have seen the Valley grow when it comes to dining remarkably.
Remarkably. When I took the job, I interviewed for the job at the Boulders up in Carefree in 1988. And when I actually got at the helm of the cuisine there, we had to even fly not only our seafood in, but our own lettuce from California. And boy, we've come a long way since then.
And then when you got it at Sky Harbor, you had the long trip out to the Boulders and Carefree.
Well, we had drivers back in those days that wore blue cowboy hats that would make that trip a dozen times a day.
Well, Herb Drinkwater, the former mayor of Scottsdale, God bless him, continued to hang on to that symbolic phrase, the West's most western town.
That's right.
I don't know whether it's really applicable to a place like the Valley Ho, but one thing that is applicable is it's a hotel. And wherever it is that we go in the United States or around the world, notoriously, the people who check in immediately go someplace else to eat. Why? Why do they leave the hotel first in order to find out where fine dining is, except in the hotel?
Yeah, it's interesting, but that stigma, it does exist. However, when you really think about, the talent that's in the hotels, it really comes from the ownership. And the owners of the Valley Ho, our management company, West Rock Hospitality, we also manage Sanctuary on Camelback, they're foodies. Bill Nasickas, Scott Lyon, Pete Korpstein, they care about food. And when we opened up Sanctuary on Camelback back in 2001, I wanted to make it a restaurant with a hotel attached, not a hotel with a restaurant attached. And it used to give me great pleasure when people would come up to the hostess stand and try to check into the hotel, because I just gave it its own personality, its own name. We named the bar separately. It had its own matches, its own letterhead, its own personality, its own collateral.
And that's all been retained.
Right. And it's the same with ZuZu at the Hotel Valley Ho. I know we don't have our own separate entrance. However, it's very much a freestanding restaurant.
Okay, if I checked into the Valley Ho, and over the years I can't think of too many people who haven't at one time or another, because it really has a history since 59?
56.
And so it's been here longer than almost anything, including several rocks. Valley Ho has been that tower in Scottsdale that everybody recognizes. The ZuZu is relatively new. Why would I have my first meal at ZuZu if I checked into the Hotel Valley Ho?
Well, first off, you can't miss it, because when you check into the hotel, the restaurant and the bar is front and center.
You did it again, didn't you?
We did it again. And our interior designer in Los Angeles, she was I won't mention her name, but she was totally against it. She goes, "Why would you just put this restaurant right in your beautiful lobby?" And the answer from the ownership was, because we want everybody to feel welcome, to come in, drop off their baggage, have a drink, have something to eat, and just decompress.
But you like food preparation, certainly, as a long-time, highly respected chef. James Beard recognition, all of the awards that you could possibly pile up. But I know you like food, too.
Love food.
So, all right, so tempt me. Get me into the ZuZu tonight.
Okay.
Help me.
Help you along.
Yeah, with the menu.
To draw you a little picture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people go out to eat, not because they're hungry necessarily or they need sustenance, but they go out because it's an entertainment. And our restaurant, first off, you have to have the right ambiance. It's beautiful. The music is right, the lighting, the candles, the staff is professional. I used to be one of these chefs that thought, well, the dining room could light on fire and people are still going to come on it for the food. Well, I know that's not the case, because you're a great fan of restaurants, so it's all about the experience. The freshness of the food. Everybody talks about local and fresh, but we walk the walk. We really pay a lot of attention to what comes in the back door, and we try to have simple preparations that just don't tax the ingredients.
And you have wine events and cocktail events and happy hour and so on. The one thing, though, that I've always wanted to ask somebody who is responsible for dining and a series of menus in a hotel, explain why it is that I have to have my nitroglycerin pills with me when I take a look at almost any hotel's in-room dining. I look at the prices and I say, wait a minute, hold it, for crying out loud. I could go to Paris and get it at these
Right,
prices.
but you should go to hotelvalleyho.com and check out our prices, because that's not the case. Yeah,
Look at this, for crying out loud.
It's the truth.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know a lot of restaurants, a lot of hotels take advantage of that. They have a captive audience, and I think a lot of hotels also, if you look at the bottom, that there's a delivery charge on top of the gratuity. Now, and of course, servers work on a gratuity basis. You can't deny that. However, we don't charge a delivery charge either.
Okay, all right.
So we
no,
encourage people.
I'm sold. All right, the whole key is then if I'm going to get room service, get it at the Valley Ho from ZuZu. All those other hotels at those prices, I want Sandra Bullock to deliver the food. Listen, you know what? You can also dine poolside, and it just is a really neat place. I love the Valley of the Sun, and if you love the Valley of the Sun, you got to fall in love with the Valley Ho Hotel in Scottsdale. You'll recognize Chef Wiley walking through to make sure that you're happy. This is Take 5 for Foodies, KTAR.com.